Good afternoon, I'm Ollie Klink. This is Euro Game Day Live on Talksport, presented by Burger King. Bring home the ultimate food satisfaction. Get your favourites delivered now. The Olympiastadion in Berlin is split by wide seas of blue and red shirts as the Italian and Swiss fans make themselves heard. The holders, Italy, are ready to take on Switzerland, and both sides will know that it's win or bust now. They're looking to push on to the latter stages of the tournament. The teams are in the tunnel. Let's get the final thoughts of former Chelsea defender Scott Minto. Scott, as we approach kick-off, go on, give me your prediction. How's this one going to go?
Oh, you're pushing me now, Ollie, aren't you?
That's what I'm here for.
Absolutely. Look, it seems wrong to obviously listen to the odds. As we said before, the favourites are Italy, but anyone who's watched this tournament so far would say that Switzerland have been the better side out the two. I would not be surprised if it goes all the way to extra time and penalties. I really wouldn't. This is a low-scoring game, but if it's going to be won in 90 minutes, I've got to go for Switzerland.
Scott, thank you very much indeed. Remember that straight after us, Adrian Doan will be live in Dortmund bringing you coverage of Germany against Denmark. It's then the turn of Gareth Southgate and England tomorrow at 5 o'clock. They take on Slovakia. It's unmissable if you're an England fan. We'll bring you every kick live from Gelsenkirchen on Talksport. Right now, though, our attention turns to Berlin as the holders Italy take on Switzerland. A place in the quarter-finals is at stake. Can Spalletti's Italians find their sparkle, or will it be the savvy Swiss who spring a surprise? Taking you through the action, former Chelsea defender Scott Minto. But first, your match commentator, Nigel Adderley.
Thank you, Ollie. Good afternoon once again. Italy's title defence has limped on to Berlin, and a stadium which holds the happiest of memories for them. But this is a team in flux and out of form. The Swiss are permanent underdogs, but this is a game they should win unless the Italian tournament DNA suddenly resurfaces. It is a perfect scene inside the Olympiastadion. A warm, sunny Saturday afternoon. The stadium is packed. The red of Switzerland, the blue of the Italians. And we are about to see the first knockout game at the UEFA Euro 2024. We have all of them across the Talksport network, including England against Slovakia, 5 p.m. tomorrow night. But before the action gets underway here today, we will pause for the national anthems. And pretty much a 50-50 split between the supporters inside the stadium. And that's reflected in the volume and the passion from the two anthems there. A reminder of the two teams, 5 Italian-based players in the Swiss lineup, including their goalkeeper Jan Sommer, a champion with Inter this season. The back three is Cher, Akanji and Rodriguez. Freuler and Xhaka holding in midfield. Abisha and Rieder are in the wide areas, with Vargas, Mbolo and Ndoye in attack. All change again for Italy. 10 of their players are home-based. Donnarumma, the goalkeeper, who plays for Paris Saint-Germain, is the only exception to that. The back four is Di Lorenzo, Mancini, Bastoni and Darmian. Cristante, Fagioli and Barella in midfield. Chiesa, Scamacca and El Shaarawy in attack. And Scott Minto, it is interesting that Spalletti has gone for players who is not picked at all so far in the tournament for the first knockout game. It looks to be a massive risk.
Well, it is, Nigel. I mean, it's almost like I don't like what I've seen already so far, and to be fair,
it's panic possibly.
Well, it could be. It's almost like I don't think what I've seen is going to take us any further, so let's just give it a go of players that perhaps I didn't think in the first place. Look, take you back to the first game. They conceded the first 23 seconds. They responded really well. That first half, I was so impressed with them. Then they sat back and very nearly, let in an equaliser. Spain, they were thrashed 1-0. And then the Croatian game, well, it was the last kick of the game. They were clearly in the first half, they were trying to play for a 0-0 draw. The moment they conceded, they panicked a little bit, but still didn't look like scoring, I didn't feel. And they got that. They knew they were lucky. So I think Spalletti's just gone, do you know what, I've got to throw the dice here, because what we've seen so far has just not been good enough.
Szymon Marciniak of Poland, who refereed the most recent World Cup final, is the referee. And we have an Argentinian fourth official, Facundo Tello. And another Pole, Tomasz Kwiatkowski, is the VAR here today. Both teams in their pre-match huddle, either side of the halfway line, on a hot day in Berlin, 29 degrees Celsius at kick-off time. And that could explain the changes and maybe the younger players and more energy from Spalletti in the Italian midfield, certainly at the start of this game. Italy in all blue and Switzerland in all red will get the match underway. And the knockout rounds about to get underway on the Talksport network. There are no second chances now. Drama and probably penalties are guaranteed over the next few days. And we get another look at Italy's rather underwhelming title defence here today. But the key thing is for the Azzurri is that they are still here. And but for a goal in the 98th minute on Tuesday, that would not have been the case. Switzerland on the attack right from the start with Mbolo down the right. A low cross into the penalty area is blocked at the near post by Mancini, who has come in for Calafiori. And it will be a throw-in for Switzerland, who are attacking the Marathon Gate, the open end of the Olympic Stadium, away to our left in the first half. Xhaka, the captain, plays the ball down the line towards this near side. Clipped into the penalty area. Rieder's ball in, took a deflection off Cristante. Could have gone anywhere, and in the end, bounced just wide for a Swiss corner.
Well, it's been a really good start from Switzerland. You can see the Italians trying to press when they haven't got the ball, but there's no point in pressing if you've got a high line and you're not picking up the runner. Mbolo got into the box. It was defended in the end, but that ball there from Rieder, if that had gone through to Abishir, he'd have been through on goal.
Corner for Switzerland. On the far side, Fabian Rieder will take it in towards that near post, headed away though by Bastoni. Hooked back towards goal by Abisher on this near side, but Mancini is there to head the ball away. But Switzerland recover possession with Rodriguez, one of three Bologna players in the Swiss team, the side who were so impressive in their qualification for the UEFA Champions League next season in Serie A in the campaign just gone. Now Barella for Italy, who looks to be their mainstay in midfield, and in terms of trust, Scott, he seems to be one of the few players that Spalletti can really bank on.
Yeah, absolutely, arguably the best player in Serie A. He is a banker for Italy for sure. And while Switzerland have started the better just in the first couple of minutes, you can see what the Italians are trying to do, and Spalletti, and why perhaps he's picked a more younger, fresher side, because they are running around chasing, almost playing a man-to-man basis. At the moment it's kind of a mid-block, but up until now it's been trying to break them down and chase and get them to go long.
In the T20 final, India are 168 for 5 in the final over against South Africa, having won the toss and chosen to bat, as the Swiss go long again, looking for the run down the centre of Freuler on this occasion, who has been so impressive in this tournament, but he's one of 4 Italians on a yellow card in this game, along with Xhaka, Rodriguez and Ndoye. At the moment, Donnarumma, Cristante and Fagioli are in a similar situation for Italy, and no jacket required for Luciano Spalletti here today in such warm conditions as he stands in his shirt sleeves on the touchline. Very expressive and animated already, as is his style, as Switzerland win it back on this near side with Abisha, and he's been fouled, and Marciniak, the referee, has given Switzerland a free kick with 3 minutes played on Talksport. On this left-hand side, Xhaka quickly transfers it wide to Cher, and now Ndoye down the right into Mbolo, who tries to hold the ball up, but Barella comes away with it. The clearance downfield, though, wasn't convincing from Darmian. Xhaka wins it back. Abisha wide towards this near side, and Ruben Vargas down the Swiss left. He comes in field onto the right foot again. Back to Xhaka, and here is Rodriguez. And now Vargas looking to take on Di Lorenzo for pace. The crossing was a good one into the 6-yard area, headed away by a stooping Bastoni, but the Swiss on top in the opening moments.
Absolutely. Di Lorenzo has had a tough Euros already, certainly against Spain, but also against Croatia. You can see Vargas fancies his chances. In Bolo's got put his hands to his head thinking, why didn't I go in there? Great cross.
Rodriguez on this near side, rather sold Vargas short, but it squirts into the path of Freuler, and Brolo goes down inside the penalty area. The challenge from Mancini, penalty appeals are waved away, and El Shaarawy tries to break down the left-hand side. Back in the team at the age of 31, the Roman midfielder. Only his 32nd appearance in an international career, now stretched over 12 years. He's had his injuries, but he's also been in and out of the Italian squad. But at the moment, everybody seems to be in and out of this Italian squad.
Well, Spalletti's not been in charge for a year yet, and I think he's still getting to know what his best team is. And look, 2 of the changes were enforced, one being suspended, one an injury, but still to make 4 more changes on top of that in a round of 16 game, I think it tells you exactly he doesn't really know what his best 11 is.
5 minutes played, Switzerland 0, Italy 0 in the opening game of the round of 16 at the UEFA Euro 2024. Live on Talksport, we have the host nation Germany against Denmark, live from Dortmund, and our coverage will begin at 7 o'clock on Talksport with Adrian Durham, Ian Danta and Darren Bent, assuming this game finishes in 90 minutes. Of course, we must have a winner here today, with extra time and penalties a possibility, and on the basis of the way these teams have shaped up so far, a real possibility.
I was just about to say, we cannot assume this game is going to be over in 90 minutes. And at the moment, we fancy Switzerland before the game. They've certainly started the better, but it's 0-0. Who can unlock the defences?
El Shaarawy now tries to cross into the penalty area after a mistake on the far side from Ndoye, but in the end, El Shaarawy fouling Ndoye after he originally miskicked the cross with Scamacca in a good position, and it's a free kick for Switzerland.
Yeah, but at least it's the first time they've actually got into Switzerland's final third. At the moment, they've been very much on the back foot, and they've had the ball, they've not been able to keep it. And Switzerland at the moment just controlling the tempo. If Italy try and press high, then the ball goes over the top. If not, they play through the midfield, and Granit Xhaka getting the ball as much as possible.
And Switzerland coming forward again, midway inside their own half, attacking the goal away to our left. And here is Ricardo Rodriguez in towards Vargas, and Switzerland are controlling the tempo at the moment. Murat Yakin was a coach really under pressure at the end of the qualification. They only won 1 of their final 7 games, did not play well, but he's now a very popular figure once again, and he made his way across the running track towards the Swiss fans on the far side before kick-off and got a tremendous ovation as Chiesa pirouettes in the centre circle and plays it wide to this near side. At the end of the Indian innings in the World T20 final, they are 176 for 7. So 177 is the target for South Africa to lift the trophy. Xhaka waving players forward wide on this near side, finding Abisha down the left. Abisha comes in field to find Xhaka again, and here is Vargas. Vargas will always cut in field, but he does have support from Abisha. And here is Rodriguez once again. The Italians very deep. Every blue shirt back behind the ball, within 25 yards of their own goal at the moment. Xhaka finding Rodriguez, and Rodriguez challenged by Chiesa, and in the end Di Lorenzo has the opportunity to clear, which he does, but he only picks out Vargas on this near side. Now Abisha once again, and the Italians, despite all of those defenders, unable to get out here. Here is Vargas again, and they look like a team at the moment, Scott, who have made 6 changes.
Absolutely. As I say, they can't keep the ball. When they try and press high, Switzerland just go a little bit longer, and then they drop off, and Switzerland just keeping the ball again. But there was a time when they just got sort of towards the edge of the box, and Rodriguez was on the ball, and he looked up and there was no one in the box, and Bowler had come outside to feet. It's all very well playing pass, but someone's got to be in there looking to get in behind the defence, even if they're defending deep, Italy. And that's the one criticism I would give Switzerland right now, who have started off much the better side.
And there'll be a concern for Spalletti because Nicolo Barella is down clutching his left thigh. Switzerland have a free kick here for an earlier challenge by Cristante on Abisha, but Barella clashed with Remo Freuler, and he just pulled up clutching the back of his left hamstring, and
that doesn't look good.
No,
absolutely. It wasn't as if it was a kick. And I can only assume he's tweaked his hamstring, and I hope for the sake of the Italians that there's just a slight twinge, nothing more than that. But yes, okay, defender was close to him and kicked the ball away, but he didn't kick at the back of his leg at all. That's the tweaked hamstring. Hopefully he'll be okay.
9 minutes played. You're listening to Euro Game Day Live on Talksport, presented by Carling, the UK's #1 lager, 18 plus. Please drink responsibly. And Barella is back on his feet, but he hobbles away to this near side. Pellegrini and Fratesi are both warming up as a precaution, and he is not moving freely at all, Nicolo Barella, and he's still rubbing the left thigh, left hamstring area.
Yeah, he's now kind of holding the side, which kind of makes it as if that maybe it was some kind of kick, but certainly when he, looking at the pictures, when he first grabbed hold of his leg, it definitely was the hamstring.
Vargas plays the free kick short towards Freuler, and now wide towards the far side, and the cross is now delivered, flicked on by Akanji at the near post, but Italy will clear. Now Scamacca looking to link up with Fagioli, and it's a big day for Nicola Fagioli, the 23-year-old from Juventus, only his 5th appearance for the national side, and he barely played this season due to a 7-month betting ban as Vargas goes down on the edge of the penalty area, caught by Di Lorenzo, but Marciniak believes he originated the contact and tells him to get up.
Going to be a good battle, that. Di Lorenzo knows already he's in a game. Vargas trying to be very direct. And one of the bits of criticism we can give perhaps an England side, when they get the ball wide, there's no one trying to take on the fullback. It's always coming inside. Vargas is certainly going at his fullback, and as I say, Di Lorenzo knows he's going to be in for a game today.
The winners of this game will meet England or Slovakia in the quarter-finals as Ndoye tries to volley the ball across the penalty area. The ball was dropping over his shoulder down the right-hand side, never really got hold of it as he was sought by Granit Xhaka, and the Italians will regather. So the quarter-final in Dusseldorf against the English or the Slovaks next Saturday for one of these teams, and then one of Romania, the Netherlands, Austria or Turkey in the semi-finals. People have said it's the weaker half of the draw, but someone's going to reach the final.
Absolutely. I think it won't only be the English public saying it's good to be on that side of the draw. Great opportunity for all those sides on that side of the draw. It really is. And 77% possession Switzerland have had so far.
11 minutes played, and the Italians have barely crossed the halfway line, and it seems at the moment that Spalletti has sent them out to just stay in the game and win ugly if they can. Now Vargas on this near side. Well, Aebischer went down first, then Vargas was caught by Di Lorenzo. Two Swiss players are writhing in apparent agony close to the touchline on this near side. They do have a free kick, I think, for the first challenge by Mancini on Aebischer before Vargas was caught by Di Lorenzo.
Yeah, and I think the first one was a little bit innocuous. And the second one, again, it's a fullback trying to get close to his winger, who knows that once his winger gets into his stride, he's got the better of him. One thing you don't want to do as a fullback, when you know the winger actually knows within the first couple of minutes that Vargas is quicker than him, you don't want him to get a run at him.
Murat Yakin, the Swiss coach, out towards the edge of his technical area to check on the health of two of his players. And he played against England for Switzerland back in Euro 2004 in Coimbra when Wayne Rooney ran the show in a 3-0 victory for the Three Lions. Aebischer over the free kick here. Swung in with the right foot high to the far post, and it's meat and drink for Gianluigi Donnarumma.
No, that's poor from Aebischer, and he's better than that. As I say, I did the first game where I thought he was excellent, especially in the first half. Assist and a goal. He was coming in off the left that way, but certainly good on set pieces too. Not in that particular instance.
Germany against Denmark coming up on Talksport at 8 o'clock this evening. And then, of course, tomorrow, 5 o'clock, England against Slovakia. And then Spain against Georgia at 8 o'clock will be live over on Talksport 2. We'll be taking your calls following the England game. And you can also have your say with Adam Cattrall and Jermaine Pennant on the Weekend Sports Bar following the matches today. And then tomorrow, the build-up throughout the day, Euro Game Day Live with Jeff Sterling and Gabby Agbon-Lahore from 1 o'clock, and then Adrian Durham and the team from 4 o'clock inside the stadium. And then Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy will be taking your calls all the way through until 11 o'clock tomorrow evening. 14 minutes played. Once again, the Swiss have a player down here, and it has been a rather punctuated start to the game. Granit Xhaka, the player who is currently receiving some treatment.
Well, now he's on his feet again, but it wasn't good. He was under pressure from Chiesa, played the ball out and went straight down. So again, from the Swiss point of view, hopefully he'll be okay. But Italy at the moment just can't keep the ball. Whenever Switzerland decide to press, they give the ball away completely.
Every game from the round of 16 on the Talksport network. To mark your card on Monday at 5, what a game. France against Belgium. And then Portugal against Slovenia at 8. Both those games on Talksport. Same story on Tuesday. We'll have Romania against the Netherlands. And then Austria against Turkey, which is in the portion of the draw also occupied by England. Now Chiesa on this near side for Italy. Down the right. Back to Di Lorenzo. Fagioli. Good ball forward from him down the right. Picking out Cristante. The low ball in is blocked at the near post by Rodriguez, but Italy's first piece of constructive football in the game, with 15 minutes played, results in their first corner.
Yeah, and that's the problem with having Aebischer as a wing-back. I mean, he's playing on the left at that particular moment. And Cristante made a really good run inside, but Rodriguez, with all the experience he's got, read the situation and stopped the cross developing.
Italian corner. Fagioli will take it. And he's been picked today due to his energy to deal with the heat, according to Spalletti. And the outswinger from him is high. Volley back across the face of goal by El Shaarawy, but into the ground and headed away by Scher. And the Italians will go all the way back to the halfway line, and the former Manchester United defender Matteo Darmian. Now Fagioli again. All change in the Italian midfield and their attacking ranks today after that match against Croatia. Had they not scored Zaccagni in the 98th minute, they would have gone out at the end of the group stage. Now Chiesa on this near side, traces onto a long diagonal ball forward, but it just runs out of play, and it will be a goal kick for Switzerland.
That's unlucky though. Just in the last minute or so, Faziola's gotten the ball. He was pressed, but he turned the Swiss midfielder very well indeed and kept the play going. That's what they need to do. And then he just tried it was a Hollywood 50-yard crossfield pass. It nearly came off with Chiesa, not quite able to keep it in, but at least Italy are keeping the ball a little bit more now.
17 minutes played, 0-0. Very clever dummy from Mbolo, releasing Vargas, and now down the centre once again on this near side. There's an opportunity for Rida. Mbolo tries to curl the ball into the penalty area. Not quite sure what he was trying to do there, and it's claimed by Donnarumma. And the Italians are quickly breaking forward now with El Shaarawy down their left. 3 red shirts around him. One of them, Xhaka, takes him out, and it will be a free kick. Xhaka is on a yellow card, and he'll be looking here at Marcini, at the referee, to see what he does.
Oh, it's a foul. I don't think it's a yellow card. He's kind of just stood his ground as El Shaarawy comes inside. Definite foul. Mbolo should have done so much better. I don't know what he was trying, as you just said. A really poor cross from Ndoye at the far post. You either have a shot there or you've got to put that much further out. And Italy, to be fair, counter-attacked very, very quickly and now got a free kick in a dangerous position.
And the Italians scored from a very similar position in their opening game against Albania. Of course, they conceded the quickest ever goal in the tournament and then quickly responded with a set piece which was headed home by Alessandro Bastoni at the far post. And Jan Sommer, the veteran Inter Milan goalkeeper, is trying to organise his wall. And Fagioli and Barella are over the free kick here for Italy. And it's flighted high, and Di Lorenzo with a great chance. He wasn't spotted. He peeled off the back of the wall. He was onside, and an air shot 8 yards out with the goal at his mercy.
Well, with the greatest of respect, and he was probably offside actually as well. I don't believe that was done in the training ground because, and I'm not being in the fullback union here, you don't put a fullback who's right-footed for a left-foot volley coming over your shoulder. It was great movement, I have to say. Switzerland can turn around and say, well, look, we held our line and it would have been offside because we can clearly see he was half a yard offside, but that will definitely give the Italians a bit more confidence.
And it does suggest the Italians are rather playing off the cuff here.
I think that's a really good point. As I say, there's no way that was practice. You don't put a fullback there and on his wrong foot. Maybe a striker, yes, but there's a great little dink over the top, and Switzerland were asleep, but the fact that they held their line, it would have been offside, but really good movement from Di Lorenzo.
The South African innings is underway in the World T20 final, and they are one without loss, needing 177 to beat India, having lost the toss and being asked to bowl. As Sommer, wearing all yellow, the Swiss goalkeeper away to our right, plays it short to Manuel Akanji of Manchester City. And he's got plenty of time to pick out Xhaka. No blue shirts anywhere near him. Every time Switzerland have the ball, the Italians retreat en masse into their own half.
But then the Italians have got to tell Scamacca to drop off as well, because he just ran 10-20 yards to close down. They passed around him.
Now Mbolo on the edge of the penalty area, plays it square to Abisha. Almost back in field towards Mbolo again, but Darmian will clear. Rodriguez with the ponytail on this near side. 20 minutes played on Talksport in the round of 16 at Euro 2024. It is Switzerland 0, Italy 0. Ndoye now down the right, cuts in field, finds Freuler. And Freuler's got support wide on the right-hand side, but Switzerland here just happy to work the Italians, move the ball around in the heat, and get their opponents doing some chasing, but in the end it goes all the way back to Jan Sommer.
And do you know what? It's not bad tactics from Switzerland. Don't force it. It is very hot. Get them running around. Okay, they're young, they're fresh, but they might not be fully match fit if they haven't played a lot of games in this tournament, so therefore just keep the ball. It's a 90-minute, perhaps even 120-minute game.
And Switzerland finds space again on this near side. Abisha picking out Vargas down the left. He's looking to high step into the penalty area. Back to Xhaka, 25 yards out. low in towards Abisher, no real room. He tries to work it wide towards this near side. Reader in the end tried to pick out Abisher, but it was all a bit too narrow for the Swiss, and it's gone behind for a goal kick.
Do you know what? It was really tight, and there were a lot of Italians in there, but I'm looking at Mbolo, and he's just standing there. He's not really trying to help. He's got to be able to read the situation. Abisher's got the ball in a tight situation. His touch is decent, so he's looking for that pass. It may be a wall pass, or it may be a little pass through, but there's no movement from the striker at all.
Both these teams finished second in their group, but in very different circumstances. The Swiss beat Hungary 3-1 in their first game, and then draws against Scotland and Germany, but they were denied top spot by Niklas Füllkrug in the 92nd minute in their match with the host nation, so they would have been playing Denmark in Dortmund tonight. And Italy, of course, runners-up in rather chaotic fashion in Group B, beat Albania 2-1, having conceded the quickest ever goal in the Euros, were absolutely schooled by the Spanish, hammered 1-0, as Scott said before kick-off, and then that draw against Croatia with the equaliser with the final kick of the game. Freuler coming forward now for Switzerland, tries to find Mbolo, but it was well read by Bastoni, and Italy will clear. And now Chiesa on to Scamacca. Scamacca, though, with a dreadful crossfield ball straight to Ndoye, and Switzerland have the ball back.
They can't keep it, can they, the Italians, at the moment? And after just a couple of minutes of getting the ball down the other end, again, we're going back to how this game has started. Switzerland dominating, waiting to see if Italy press. If they do, they go a little bit longer. If they don't, they just pass through the midfield.
23 minutes played. Switzerland 0, Italy 0, and now Mbolo has been played through. Mbolo's shot is turned aside by Donnarumma. Ndoye inside the penalty area. He fires in the shot. It's blocked. Reader tries to win it back. Freuler now fires in the shot. It's deflected, and Mbolo knows he's offside, so doesn't become involved in the play. But the first clear-cut chance here for Switzerland, and Breel Mbolo knows he should have scored.
And I think it's Darmian keeping them on side as well. The two centre-halves of Italy have pushed up, but Darmian didn't, and he was onside. One-on-one situation, a very good save from Donnarumma, but Mbolo has got to put it in the back of the net. You don't get many chances like that. Can't give the goalkeeper an opportunity to make the save.
Well, 7 of the 8 round of 16 ties at Euro 2020 were won by the team scoring first, and Switzerland should have scored first there. 24 minutes played on Talksport, but it's still 0-0. But Italy have been out of sorts, and at the moment they are just hanging around, staying in the game.
Well, again, we go back to the 6 changes, don't we? He's changed more than half the side. So it's looking like that at the moment. And they've conceded the first goal in all 3 of their group stage games. 1-1, lost 1, draw 1. And one they won against, with the greatest of respect, a decent Albanian side, but still a game that they should be able to win. You just worry about Italy at the moment. They want to keep it to 0-0 as long as possible.
And Italy again have tweaked their formation as they give the ball away again. Here is Mbolo with a shot left-footed from the edge of the penalty area, blocked by Mancini. And then Al-Sharawi. And Italy have almost gone to a 4-1-4-1 formation now to circle the wagons in midfield, with Fagioli just in front of the back 4 and Scamacca very much on his own in attack. But here is Fagioli coming forward now, scooped over the top looking for Scamacca. It's blocked though, headed away by Freuler. Chiesa now down the left-hand side, a burst into the penalty area. Chiesa still going, but the low shot is turned aside by Akanji at the near post for a corner.
Well, he was superb in 2020, Chiesa, wasn't he? And he was brilliant there as well. 2 defenders around him, and yet he still was able to come back inside on his right foot and get a shot in. I think Jan Sommer would have saved it, but Akanji just can't take that risk. I think the only way Italy are going to win this is a piece of individual brilliance and then just typical Italian defending.
26 minutes played. Switzerland 0, Italy 0. But the way Italy have given the ball away inside their own half so far is very un-Italian-like, or certainly not like the way they've won tournaments in the past. Fagioli with the corner into the near post. Freuler will head the ball behind solidly, and Fagioli will get another go. Of course, Italy won the World Cup final in this stadium back in 2006. Materazzi scored their goal. He's in the stadium today. Fagioli's corner is met by the head of Mbolo at the near post. Now Fagioli Back towards Barella. And Barella will think about launching the ball forward. Cristante was almost onto that. Not sure he was onside, but in the end it bounces through to Son.
No, but still the right idea, because Switzerland are playing a little bit of a higher line, or certainly trying to push up when the ball goes out. So if anyone can time the run, first of all have the idea to make it, second of all have the energy to make it, and third of all to time the run really well, then that might be their way of doing it.
South Africa 11 for 1 in the second over, chasing 177 to beat India in the T20 final. And Bolo plays it wide towards Ndoye down the right-hand side. The shot's deflected, almost falls into the path of Vargas. Hammered clear by Bastone, but it will come straight back. And the Swiss dominating possession at the moment. Aebischer picking out Reader. Wide towards Ndoye again down the right. The low ball right through the 6-yard area was the right idea, but there was no red shirts on the end of it.
Do you know what? It's brilliant passing. It really is. Italy are trying to just defend deep and let them go out wide, but Granit Xhaka played that pass into Aebischer, who then played the ball out to Ndoye. And he just needed to wait just another second for Reader to get on the end of it, because it was too early. It was a really good run, well timed as well, but Ndoye just playing it a little bit too early.
You're listening to Euro Game Day live on Talksport, presented by Burger King. Bring home the ultimate food satisfaction. Get your favourites delivered now. Italy playing out again and playing themselves under pressure, but here is Chiesa looking for Scamacca. He's done well to find Cristante, but Cristante's ball gives Barella no chance at all, because Ndoye was all over him. 10 yards inside the Italian half, and the Swiss quickly have it back.
Very impressive, the Swiss, both with and without the ball.
Now Mbolo goes down, wanting a free kick, challenged by Cristante. No free kick, but Switzerland have it back anyway. Xhaka finding Mbolo, shrugs off Chiesa, tries to slip it into the penalty area for Vargas, but Italy will clear. Al Sharawi plays it forward first time under pressure, looking for Scamacca, who is the epitome of a lone striker at the moment.
Yeah, the problem for Scamacca is he knows he hasn't got the pace on Akanji, so he can't really go in behind, but he can threaten to go in behind and then come short, which will create an extra yard or two. But at the moment, if he does receive the ball, he's got one, if not two, central defenders right on him. Otherwise, he's not even receiving quality ball.
Ndoye now for Switzerland, down their right-hand side. The Bologna player has support from Reader, but it's back to Freuler. And here is Xhaka again, and Freuler and Xhaka are running this game at the moment for Switzerland. Half an hour played, but it's 0-0. Freuler on again towards Reader. And here is Ndoye, the cross into the near post, looking for Mbolo, headed away by Bastone. Quickly returned into the penalty area, but once again Mbolo knew he was offside as it was nodded through by Cher, and it's claimed by Donnarumma.
Yeah, but don't be offside. Come back. The way that the Italy defence push up, drop off with them to make sure if that ball comes back first time, you're in line and you're not offside. It's been 2 or 3 times now that Mbolo looks like he kind of wants the ball exactly to him, but he's not also willing to make those little sharp runs, reading the situation. If he had done, he might well have been in there.
Switzerland have not beaten Italy for 31 years. Mark Hottiger, the former Newcastle player, scored the only goal. But they will believe they will never have a better chance of ending that run here today against this Italian team. Much changed, and at times they've been a bit of a shambles, and they've given the ball away again. Aebischer now inside the penalty area. Vargas in support, but Aebischer turns and goes back towards Rodriguez, and now there could be an overload for Switzerland down the left. Aebischer with the cross high in, looking for Mbolo, headed away by Bastone. And Ndoye now wide towards Cher with a burst into the penalty area, a couple of step overs, tries to curl the ball in, blocked by Darmian. Xhaka again, now Akanji, and here is Rodriguez 30 yards out, lets fly left footed over the top.
I think his boots just come off as well, and he deserves that. You don't shoot from there, just keep it going. When you've got a centre half, and Fabian Cher, with the greatest respect, is a good footballer, but he's playing like a right winger in there. He's getting into the box, doing little step overs. I think it goes to show just how confident Switzerland feel they are against this Italian side. They do with the goal though, just to get that dominance showing on the score sheet. As I say, all the time it's 0-0. Italy will turn around and say, well, we're still very much in this game.
Italy did beat Switzerland 3-0 in Rome in the previous Euros. But since then, the Swiss held the Italians to 2 draws in World Cup qualifying when Jorginho missed penalties in both games, and of course Switzerland won their group. Italy went into the playoffs and were beaten by North Macedonia. Now Abisha on towards Mbola, looking to roll his man on the edge of the penalty area, but Di Lorenzo does well to play it back towards Donnarumma, who clears. Rodriguez in an aerial duel with Chiesa on this near side, and Switzerland will have a throw-in with 32 minutes played. But at times this has looked like an FA Cup tie between a lower division side and a Premier League team. Such has been the gulf in quality and also ambition.
I couldn't agree more, Nigel. I was thinking, I didn't really want to use the word, but it's almost a bit embarrassing. It's like attack versus defence. First team versus reserves the day before a game. There's so much on top, Switzerland. They just need to be careful they don't switch off. But good defending there from Di Lorenzo. He realised where the danger was, and that was Mbola. So he left his man, came inside, helped his central defender out and got the ball back. You have to have defending like that all night if they are to somehow get through to the next round.
The sun has now departed in Berlin, which will be welcome relief to some of the players. As Rieder comes forward now, down the right-hand side for Switzerland, pokes a poor cross into the penalty area, and Donnarumma on his haunches will gather with both hands at the near post. He was trying to shake that ball in with the outside of his boot, but the ball never moved an inch.
I'm not quite sure if he kicked the ground first, but certainly he's better than that. But again, another example, Switzerland getting in behind the Italy defence. They got to the byline. Italy defenders getting themselves in the right position, Donnarumma included in that. But still, it's all Switzerland at the moment.
But it's still 0-0 with 34 minutes played on Talksport. And we have every single knockout game on the Talksport network. Germany against Denmark coming up at 8 o'clock following this game, with Adrian Durham, Ian Danta and Darren Bent in Dortmund. And of course tomorrow it is England against Slovakia, 5 o'clock on Talksport, and we will be building up to that game on the Talksport network all day. Switzerland with 65% possession so far, 8 attempts. The Italians have had 1, but curiously the Italians have had more corners. Now El Shaarawy down the left-hand side, looking to shrug off Ndoye. Fagioli finding Cristante. And Barella has been robbed by Freuler, and Switzerland will look to turn the ball over quickly again. Abisha making a burst from midfield, and his ankle was clipped there by Barella, and it's a yellow card and a free kick for Switzerland with 10 minutes to play in the first half.
But again, just how good Switzerland are without the ball, putting pressure on Barella. You can see he's frustrated. Really good run in the end from Abisha down the middle, and committing Barella to make that foul and a rightful yellow card.
Slow going for South Africa at the moment in the T20 final. They are 14 for 2 in the fourth over, 177 the target. Against India, Rodriguez here for Switzerland, 0-0 in the Olympic Stadium in Berlin. But it's been one-way traffic so far. Italy hanging on grimly. But now Ndoye comes in field. The ball deflects into the path of Abisha, but the deflection just carrying the ball behind him. Xhaka back towards Rodriguez. Abisha again down the left-hand side. And here is Xhaka. And Switzerland taking their time down the left before thinking about maybe a cross. There are 4 red shirts waiting, but they're now quickly surrounded by blue Italian ones. Now Freuler finding Rieder. But the Swiss know they can play the ball back to the halfway line under no pressure whatsoever. Scamacca is just doing shuttle runs between Akanji and Cher at the moment, and he's never getting the ball.
No, and the problem with that is when he does get the ball, he's going to be tired.
Ndoye linking up with Mbolo. Now it's wide to Vargas down the left-hand side. Vargas with a low ball in. Volley towards goal by Freuler. And it's taken brilliantly by Remo Freuler. And Switzerland have the goal they deserve. They have utterly dominated the Italians since the opening whistle. And that was a superb goal, finished by Remo Freuler of Bologna. It is no more than Switzerland deserve, and the Italian defence of the European Championship is looking oh so tenuous at the moment. 36 minutes played, it's Switzerland 1, Italy 0, and deservedly so.
Well, it's 64% possession, it's 10 goal attempts to 1, 3 shots on target to 0. I think the stats say it all, but still you've got to break down his Italian defence and the way they got the ball out wide. And again, we talked about the timing of a run down the middle. He got a little bit lucky, Freuler. The ball's kind of bounced up with his first touch, but he still had the composure to wait for it to come down. Italian defender trying to come in, but it's too late. Couldn't get anywhere near it. Could he get a good connection on his left foot? Absolutely he did. Past Donnarumma, who's been superb in the tournament so far, but not even he could stop that shot. Switzerland, as you say, Nige, so deserved to be a goal up. They've dominated Italy.
And there was a slight deflection on the shot from Mancini as he lunged it at the near post, and Donnarumma got something on it, but he was slightly wrong-footed by that. But in the end, they were just undone by the build-up play. And you are never more than 15 yards away from a footballer on loan from Nottingham Forest, and Remo Freuler is another one of those, and he scored here for Switzerland.
You're not wrong.
But what do Italy do now? A goal down, out of sorts. One thing we do know is that Spalletti's got plenty of players on the bench who've had experience of this competition so far, because he's dropped them all.
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, I don't think the Italians will panic. The problem is, have they got a plan B? Because plan A clearly hasn't worked, or at least tried to keep it to 0-0. Not a shot on target as yet. They've got to be so much better in the second half, but they've actually got to get a shot towards goal. As I say, Switzerland have been just as good without the ball as they have with it. If anything, the scoreline flatters Italy, not Switzerland.
Well, Italy won the World Cup in this stadium, also won Olympic gold back in 1936, but at the moment, their reign as European champions could be coming to an end here today. 39 minutes played, Switzerland 1, Italy 0 on Talksport, but the Italians do have a free kick. Fagioli's delivery, though, is pitiful. Onto the head of Xhaka at the near post, and he heads the ball away. And at the moment, Spalletti has got real problems here.
Well, there's no doubt about it. You know, I think Switzerland, what they need to be careful of is not just sit back. We've seen England do it, we've seen other teams do it. You know, go for that second goal, kill the game off. This is not a great Italian side. You've just dominated them for nearly 40 minutes. Just keep doing exactly what you've been doing.
Well, Spalletti, the oldest ever Italian coach at a European Championships, must be feeling every single one of those 65 years at the moment, because he's made some bold calls, he's made the changes, and his team have been utterly overrun in the first half so far.
Look, I don't blame Spalletti at all. We know he's a class manager. What he did with Napoli was nothing short of sensational.
But he had a settled team there, didn't he?
Well, absolutely. You know, and obviously what happened with Roberto Mancini, and suddenly he came in. You know, this is not an Italian side with full of quality. You know, you talked about the twin towers they had in 2020. Well, those two have gone. Verratti also. Still, it's the striking problem that's the problem. There's no quality striker.
4.5 minutes to play in the first half. Switzerland 1, Italy 0 on Talksport in Berlin. Darmian for Italy down the left-hand side. Switzerland have not beaten the Italians for 11 games, but at the moment it is difficult to look beyond them as being the first quarter-finalists and potential opponents for England should they beat Slovakia, live on Talksport tomorrow. But we've seen Italian powers of recovery over so many years in major tournaments. Will we see it now?
Well, I spoke about Switzerland, how they need to keep the foot on the pedal. I think from Italy's point of view, I still feel they need to keep it 1-0 as much as possible, even at half-time. You know, Spalletti's got to try and do something, whether it's personnel or changing the system. I don't think he will change the system, but it's not been good enough at the moment. But 2-0, I don't see them coming back from that 1-0. You're just one moment away, which of course we saw in the last game against Croatia.
Well, Di Lorenzo is down injured on this near side. He just slipped there as he tried to gather the ball, and that could be a nasty one because he may have caught his studs in the turf.
Yeah, very nasty. We've talked about the pitches. This pitch doesn't look too bad, I have to say. Not as bad as some of the pitches around Germany, but still he slipped in that one, and hopefully he'll be okay.
Watching on the monitor a replay again of the Swiss goal, which was so well made, although the ball in from Vargas did give Freuler a bit to do, and he did it superbly.
Well, he did, because it's kind of pinged into him, and when you're running at pace, to bring it down and kill it dead is nigh on impossible. So what did happen was the first touch, okay, wasn't perfect. It bounced down, then bounced right up. But again, I talked about the composure in front of goal. You know, he waited for it to come down. He didn't snatch at it when it was still high, and then he kicked it over like a lot of strikers would have, let alone midfielders. I think it goes to show the confidence both he and the team are at the moment, where he waited for the right moment. He realised Mancini wasn't close to him. Arguably got a little bit of luck with the deflection. It'd be interesting to see, or to have known, whether Donnarumma would have saved it, but forget about that. It was a great move. Switzerland have been on top. It was a really good finish, and they deserve to be at least 1-0 up.
South Africa 33 for 2 in the 6th over. 177 is their target to beat India and win the T20 World Cup. The match is back underway here. There was no free kick for Italy because there was no foul on Di Lorenzo, but we have 2 minutes of normal time to play in the first half. Switzerland 1, Italy 0. All 4 of Italy's points in the group stage came from behind. They've fallen behind in all 4 of their games so far. And now Undoy looking to shrug off the challenge of Barella. Wide towards the far side, and Rieder. He cuts in field again. Eberscher in space. Poke back to Xhaka. And Switzerland here almost playing with a bit of swagger and arrogance as Freuler comes forward now down the right-hand side. His 9th international goal in his 71st appearance for Switzerland, giving them the lead. And what is a team which has miles on the clock, caps in the cabinet, and at the moment that experience is really helping them.
And now again they're just controlling the pace of the game, aren't they? They're just saying, okay, Italy, if you want to drop off, we'll pass it around. We're the team that's leading. The moment you come at us, we're going to play the ball through, and it's not just sidewards and backwards, it's forwards.
Now Cher again. He was caught on the edge of the penalty area by El Shaarawy. It was a nasty challenge. It's a yellow card, and it's a free kick for Switzerland just outside the penalty area.
Well, with 30 seconds to go plus injury time, this could be a big moment in the game. El Shaarawy not able to get anywhere near, like pretty much a lot of the Italian players. And that's actually a really nasty tackle.
Oh, that's maybe worse than a yellow.
Well, it looks worse in slow motion.
Yeah.
I hate looking at things in slow motion. It looks so much worse all the time, but I almost want to look at it in fast speed again now to say, was it as bad? It's definitely yellow.
Well, Fabian Cher certainly felt it.
Bombing on down the right again, thinking he's
Kieran Trippier.
I was going to say Sir Stanley Matthews, but that was even before my time.
Free kick. Rieder will whip it into the near post with pace, and it's turned aside by Donnarumma. A brilliant save in the end. Rieder going for goal from way out on the right-hand side. And Donnarumma there maybe keeping Italy in the European Championships.
You know what? That's a brilliant save. And again, it shows the confidence Switzerland have right now, because unless you're ultra confident, you don't shoot from there. You put the ball in the box. He did. That was going in, maybe even touching the post. Brilliant save from Donnarumma.
Well, Donnarumma touched it onto the post at the near post, but deserved his luck. The corner into the near post, headed away by Cristante. We're into 3 added minutes at the end of the first half. Switzerland leading by a goal to 0. And Italy here are really rocking.
They have just got to keep it to 1-0 now. They're 2 minutes away from going in. And Spalletti, as I say, absolutely brilliant at club level, certainly with Napoli. He's got the biggest team talk of his international career. Because at this moment in time, Italy are going out.
Bolo down the right-hand side, looking to allow the ball to run across his body so he could attack the penalty area, but Darmian nips in to clear the ball away. And Spalletti does have his lieutenant from Napoli, Giovanni Di Lorenzo, of course, on the field here today. He was his captain when they won the title. But 11 of the Italian squad came into the tournament with 8 caps or fewer, and that inexperience is shown at times. Ndoye coming forward now for Switzerland, challenged by Darmian, and it will be a corner kick for Switzerland on the far side. Darmian doesn't agree, and he may have had a case, but it is a corner kick here for Switzerland with just under a minute of added time to play. And Italy here have got to hold out for half-time, only a goal down.
Yeah, and I agree with that disagreement. He didn't get the ball. So Italy will be livid if this goes in, but still, you're in this position, defend it properly.
The corner, high to the far post, and Cher peeling away, tried to nod it back into the 6-yard box, but in the end, Ndoye was involved with Donnarumma, and there was some chatter there off the ball, which wasn't entirely friendly, because Ndoye was shoving over Donnarumma.
Oh, come on, get up. It's what, 6'4", 6'5", and Ndoye's hardly done anything. It's not even pushed him. The referee's bought that one.
But Italy here just need to hear the half-time whistle to get in and regroup, because at the moment this has been really poor from the reigning champions. The half-time whistle goes, it will be some relief to them, but it was a first half that the Swiss would want to go on and on forever, because they have been the best team in every single department. The only surprise is it took them so long to score. 37 minutes, a brilliant goal in its construction, and the finish from Remo Freuler of Bologna. Italy have offered little in response, and at the moment the reigning champions are going out of Euro 2024. Half-time, Switzerland 1, Italy 0.
Nigel Adderley, thank you very much indeed. So the Swiss on top in Berlin. They lead the holders, Italy, who have stunk the place out so far, and Switzerland fully deserve their lead. Swiss fans in great voice, and at the moment it's their side heading into the quarter-finals. Scott Minto, if I can keep you for just a second. It's been Swiss domination so far, and talk me through that finish from Freuler for the goal 8 minutes before the break, because it wasn't easy, was it? He had to wait a long time as it dropped to him inside the box.
Ollie, I didn't see that in a Talksport trophy from anyone. I've got to be honest with you. And you know what? It was a really well-worked goal. The ball was played out wide and it was fizzed into Freuler. We talked about perhaps for Italy that the way that they can get a goal is the timing of a run and a really good pass. So it was, as I say, it was fizzed into him. So the first touch, when you're running at pace, it's so difficult to stop a ball dead. And it kind of bounced down, then bounced right up. And again, I cannot say how impressed I was with the composure of Freuler. The fact that he waited. He knows he's in a fantastic position. He knows an Italian defender's coming for him. He knows Donnarumma's going to get set and how difficult it is to beat him. But he waited and waited and waited, and what must have seemed like an eternity, but only a split second, really, in reality. And yet he waited for that ball to come down, and he got good connection, and in the end a little bit of a deflection, but that move and that touch and that finish fully deserved the goal.
Yeah, it was a lovely finish, wasn't it? And it was coming, that goal as well. 10 shots Switzerland had in that first half. They had 58% of the possession as well, and there was another golden chance actually at 0-0, Scott, for Bril Mbolo. He was set through, wasn't he? Matteo Darmian was really late coming up out of defence, and it was a brilliant save for Donnarumma. He's made a few in that first half as well, because Italy just can't handle Switzerland.
Well, absolutely, and I think he's made the most saves coming into the knockout stage. He certainly made 11 saves and kept Italy in the competition. That save there, you know, coupled with the fact that obviously later on that Switzerland has scored. If it was 2-0 now, I'd be saying, look, it's game over. I'm sorry, this Italian side is not coming back. But so for him to make that save, and he made the other one with the free kick, of course, from Fabian Rieder. So he's kept his side again in this competition. But in terms of Mbolo, I can see how he's so good. He's big, he's strong, he's powerful. But I don't think his movement is as good as it should be. And he's not reading the game as much. And when you get that one-on-one situation, don't give the keeper a chance to make the save. You know, if you have to take that extra touch, that's fine. Sometimes you say, look, at least he's hit the target. Not in that situation. You've got to make sure you put the ball in the way, whether you give the eyes, whether you get it out to come back in from the far post, or whether you just smack it as hard as you can, but away from the goalkeeper. Do not give the goalkeeper a chance, and that was a wonderful opportunity.
Scott, Italy have been so poor, so poor, and I want to ask you about their tactics, because I'm finding it all a bit baffling, really. They've got so many players that are so good when they get the ball to feet, the likes of Barella, etc. But it seems at times that they're really happy to just try and ping it over the top. Are you surprised that they're not trying to get a foot on the ball, get some possession, and try and hurt the Swiss by going through them?
Do you know what, Ollie? I think they tried to get hold of the ball, and Switzerland pressed so well. Again, I sort of was at pains to kind of say Switzerland are really good without the ball as much as they are with it, because when they don't have it, they are pressing Italy so well. So if they do get a pass off, still there's another Swiss player who's able to get really, really tight, and by the time you've made 3 passes, they're giving the ball away. So then sometimes if they're deep, they're just knocking the ball long to Scamacca, who's got 1 if not 2 defenders alongside him. The best way of them doing it, I don't mind them knocking long balls, but that's when they're almost in the final third or sort of around about the halfway line, if Switzerland have got a high line. If not, the midfielders, who are losing out at the moment to the Swiss midfield, they have to be able to dominate their counterparts. You have to win your individual battles. There's been the odd time that Fagioli's got the ball in and sort of beat the press. Apart from that, it's not really happened at all. So when they've made 2 or 3 passes, they've not been able to keep it at all. So again, I can't reiterate enough, Switzerland very good with the ball, but just as good without it.
Scott Minto, thank you very much indeed. Very intriguing scoreline in Berlin in the round of 16. Switzerland leading Italy by a 1-0. Still to come though on Talksport this weekend. Straight after us, we're going to head to Dortmund as the host Germany take on Denmark. Stay with us for that. Adrian Durham will bring you live coverage of that game. And don't forget, tomorrow, mark your card, England against Slovakia is live on Talksport. Adrian, Jim Proudfoot and the former England left back Stuart Pearce will be in Gelsenkirchen. You don't want to miss that. In fact, all of the knockout games are live on Talksport. There's a very tasty game on Monday at 5 o'clock, France against Belgium. So stick with us to hear every kick of the Euros. And by the way, just 12 days after the Euros finishes, we'll be at the Olympics. Talksport's experts and pundits are going to provide live commentary across all sorts of sports as Team GB go for gold in Paris. So we'll bring you all that drama, all that emotion, and the medals, of course, from the Olympic Games live on Talksport and Talksport 2 in late July and early August. Time now, though, to have a look at the latest odds with William Hill.
In the Zone on Talksport with William Hill. Prepare for greatness with William Hill. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Well, given their domination, you won't be surprised to hear that if you want to back Switzerland to win, it's 8-15. Currently, at the moment, they lead by a 0-0. The draw is 13-5. An Italy win, which I have to say at the moment doesn't look very likely, is 13-2. And the match is 5-1 at the moment to go to penalties. That was a look at the latest odds thanks to William Hill. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
In the Zone on Talksport with William Hill. Prepare for greatness with William Hill. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Now, let's check in on the cricket, shall we? It's the T20 World Cup final in Barbados. India are playing South Africa. How's it looking, John Norman?
Tell you what, Ollie, this is a far more competitive game than the one we're bringing you on Talksport 2 between Italy and Switzerland. You just cannot separate these two sides, and that continues to be the case. 70-2 South Africa, but just as I say that, the game just twists again. Tristan Stubbs, who's played beautifully well, has just moved across the stumps, exposed them on the offside, and Axar Patel has fired at full straight into the base of middle and off, and Stubbs has got to go for 31. So the pendulum has swung again. Just when it looked like South Africa were getting into a position where they were the favourites to go on and win this game, a partnership of 58 for the third wicket between Stubbs and Quinton de Kock. India have hit back. Earlier today, that man, Virat Kohli, who's had a really torturous tournament, top scored with 76 from 59 deliveries. Axar Patel did it with the bat as well, 47 before he was run out brilliantly by Quinton de Kock, as India made 176 for 7. In reply, South Africa were 12 for 2 early on in the third over. The partnership between Stubbs and de Kock has just come to an end, but that has brought the big hitting Heinrich Klaassen to the crease. So at the halfway stage, as we approach that of the South African innings, the target 177, one ball left of the ninth over, and this T20 World Cup very, very much in the balance, but that wicket will bring India back into the equation. Cannot split these two teams. South Africa 70 for 3, they need 107 from the remaining 67 deliveries with 7 wickets in hand.
John Norman, thank you very much indeed. So the Swiss in control at the moment in Berlin. Can the Italians respond? The second half comes next on Talksport.
Euro Game Day Live on Talksport with Carling, the UK's #1 lager. 18 plus, always drink responsibly.
Let's go live to hear about that winning goal.
The crowd's gone absolutely wild here. How on earth do you sum up your emotions right now?
Amazing. A hat-trick is just the best feeling ever.
Is it though? Is kicking a ball into the back of the net really better than food fulfillment from Burger King? That warm, fuzzy feeling of total food satisfaction, like finishing the last bite of a Gourmet King's Barbecue Steakhouse Angus.
No.
Correct. Burger King. That's food fulfillment.
Well, you can see why people are talking about Asda, can't you?
Of course, on paper, Asda have a great lineup with 2 for £20 on packs of beer like Peroni. Then there's party wear from £1, the midfield trio of bunting, face paint and flags.
And don't forget the dependable 2 for £7 on Coke 8-packs could be the difference maker. What a lineup!
Get match ready at Asda with beer and decorations on offer until the 14th of July. Asda. That's more like it. Selected stores online subject to availability. Beer packs 10 times 330ml each. Not available in Scotland. Coke 330ml, £4.25 each. May exclude express and small stores. See asda.com/small stores.
This Euros, The Sun is bringing you all the gossip, goals and giants of the game. Get insights and analysis from Harry, should have been England manager, Redknapp, Jack, the maestro, Wilshere, Gordon, no nonsense, Strachan, and Jurgen, the winner, Klinsmann. You won't want to miss it. Don't miss out. Only in The Sun.
This tournament, prepare for greatness with William Hill. Get ready for last-minute winners, legendary goals, and straight red cards. Oh, what was he thinking? Win 50% more on every England game this tournament with Bet Builder Extra, online or in the app. Only from William Hill. Available day before match to kick-off. Bet Builders of 3+ selections at 3-1 or more. Pre-match singles, match stake £20. Full T's and C's apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
You could skydive out of a plane. Or swim with sharks. You might even skinny dip in icy cold waters. Or you could get that inexpressible high, that guaranteed rush from finding just the thing you wanted, the thing you needed, at a great sale price. IKEA Summer Sale now on. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
Here she is, the 3-time world champion. What has she got in store for us today? Things are starting to heat up. Here she goes.
Triple builders, double stir. I don't believe it. And a chocolate digestive to finish it off. A thing of beauty. You have to say, the judges are gonna love this one.
British Gas, powering home fans during this summer of sport.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
On the beach, on the beach, on the beach.
Booking geniuses, save your summer. Get a wiggle on and book yourself a bargain with On the Beach. Big budget or small, we've got a mega holiday for all. Should have been a rapper. On the Beach, book like a genius, holiday like a fool.
ATO protected.
On the beach.
Euro Game Day Live, delivered by Talksport with Burger King. What's better than a last-minute winner? A crispy chicken royale delivered straight to your door.
On 1089 and 1053 medium wave, on DAB, online and on your smart speaker.
Official broadcaster of UEFA Euro 2024, Germany.
Talksport.
This is Euro Game Day Live on Talksport. I'm Ollie Clink. Thanks for joining us on this Saturday afternoon. The knockout stages of the Euros are underway, and so far in Berlin it's been Swiss supremacy. They lead Italy by 1-0. Let's hear the halftime highlights with Carling.
Half-time highlights on Talksport with Carling, the UK's #1 lager. 18 plus, always drink responsibly.
Vargas with a low ball in, volley towards goal by Freuler, and it's taken brilliantly by Remo Freuler, and Switzerland have the goal they deserve. They have utterly dominated the Italians since the opening whistle, and that was a superb goal finished by Remo Freuler off Bologna. It is no more than Switzerland deserve, and the Italian defence of the European Championship is looking oh so tenuous at the moment. Reader will whip it into the near post with pace, and it's turned aside by Donnarumma. A brilliant save in the end. Reader going for goal from way out on the right-hand side, and Donnarumma there maybe keeping Italy in the European Championship. Italy have offered little in response, and at the moment the reigning champions are going out of Euro 2024. Half-time, Switzerland 1, Italy 0.
Yeah, the Swiss in control. That was the half-time highlights thanks to Carling. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
Half-time highlights on Talksport with Carling, the UK's #1 lager. 18 plus, always drink responsibly.
Players just milling in the tunnel, making their way back out for the second half at the Olympia Stadion. Let's bring in the former Chelsea left-back, Scott Minto, your summariser for this afternoon. Scott, 6 changes made by Spalletti to that Italian side. Do you expect changes to be made in this second half, given some of the names that they do have on the bench? You know, you've got Arsenal's Jorginho, who could potentially come on, Retegui from an attacking perspective as well. Do you expect those changes to be made?
Well, I think Luciano Spalletti has just asked UEFA if he can make another 6 changes and only been told no, although Nigel was telling me that Giuseppe Bergami said he'd make 11 changes if he possibly could. Look, you've mentioned Jorginho, and actually that's the person that I would bring on, because they have no control of this game at all. But it does look like Matteo Zaccagni, who obviously scored that last-minute wonder goal to keep Italy in the competition. Looks like he's coming on. We'll wait and see who's coming off. But I'm surprised there's only one substitution, to be honest with you. I feel for Scamacca, I really do. He's not been given any quality of the ball. It's El Shawari that's coming off. But I'd still take Scamacca off, because even when he's got close to the ball, I think that the centre-halves have got him in his pocket at the moment.
Yeah, very interesting to see if this Italian side can respond in the second half. Their title is on the line. The holders at the moment trailing to Switzerland by 1-0. It's time to hand back over for the second half with your commentary team, former Chelsea left-back Scott Minto, and your commentator, Nigel Adderley.
Thank you, Ollie. And that change, Matteo Zaccagni coming on for Stefan El Shaarawy. But as Scott was saying, they could have made 5 changes in the second half, because that's how poor Italy were. So their team at the start of the second half is Donnarumma in goal, Di Lorenzo, Mancini, Bastoni and Darmian, Cristante, Fagioli and Barella, with Chiesa, Scamacca and the saviour against Croatia, Zaccagni, now on the field on the left as Switzerland come forward in their red shirts, attacking the goal away to our right in the second half. They are defending the Marathon Gate at the Olympia Stadium, and they're working forward now with Vargas. He curls in. Oh, what an outstanding goal by Ruben Vargas, and 30 seconds into the second half, Switzerland double their lead, and the Italians are surely out of the European Championships. That was utterly superb from Ruben Vargas, and the Italians, who showed so much resilience in the rain at Wembley 3 years ago, are subsiding meekly in the sunshine in Berlin. It is Switzerland 2, Italy 0.
Wow. Well, what you say at the start of the second half is keep it tight, don't concede, stay in the game. And what's happened? Less than 30 seconds in, Switzerland have just been passing around the left, 1-2 touch play, and Ruben Vargas, look, it's a wonder finish. Donnarumma's got no chance whatsoever. But how on earth is he allowed to have that much space on his right foot, just inside the box, and no one's near him within 2 yards? Even, what is he, 6'5", Donnarumma? He's got close to it, but even he's not stopping it. And my goodness me, Murat Yakin, the Switzerland manager, jumping off the bench. He knows how crucial that second goal is. 1-0 Italy are in the game. 2-0, I just don't see how they can come back.
Well, the Swiss team, Sommer in goal, Rodriguez, Akanji and Scher, Xhaka and Freuler, Eberscher and Rieder in the wide areas, Vargas, Mbolo and Ndoye. And Ruben Vargas of Augsburg in Germany, scoring his 8th international goal. And for the first time since the final in 2012, when Italy lost 4-0 to Spain, they've conceded more than once in a match at the European Championships, and that's a run of 16 games. And you cannot see any way back for Italy here. If anything, you can see them getting absolutely hammered.
I think at this moment in time, and what we've seen in the sort of 47 minutes of football is it's down to Switzerland as to what the scoreline's going to be. Obviously, you do expect Italy to step it up, but I think it depends on Switzerland. If they can keep up the intensity, keep up what they've been doing up until now, both with and without the ball. The bottom line is, Nigel, they're a much better side than the Italians.
And of course, it is England or Slovakia in the quarter-finals in Dusseldorf next Saturday. Of course, we all know who we want to be playing there, but if they do, they'll have a really tough game if it stays like this.
I think Ollie asked the question, who would you want? I want Italy right now.
Yes. Chiesa with a free kick flighted high into the penalty area beyond everybody. And you can hear one or two boos from the Italian supporters. Spalletti on the edge of his technical area. He makes a change. He brings on Zaccagni. Before he's even touched the ball, they're 2-0 down.
Now, do you know what? You can't blame him. He's hardly been in the job, well, certainly not even a year yet. You know, he doesn't know his best team. He's still trying to work it out. It has been fluid in terms of, you know, he's done 3 at the back at times and he's also done the 4. He's made 6 changes coming into the knockout stages. We talked about it before the game. It smacks of a manager who had no idea what his best 11 is. There's no consistency at all. But even so, sorry Nigel, just the goal itself, really well-worked goal from Switzerland. Great passing, great interchange and a wonderful finish. But the amount of time each player has been allowed on the ball, that's down to the players themselves.
Now Rodriguez coming forward. The Swiss want more here. The first time they've scored more than 2 in a game against Italy since 1992, and they want to maybe set a few records here and maybe right a few historical wrongs. They'd only won 8 of the previous 61 meetings. But at the moment, there is only one team on the field here. As Freuler comes forward now, it breaks for Mbolo on the edge of the penalty area. Square again towards Rieder. His ball wide towards Ndoye was blocked, and Italy will clear. And at the moment, it seems only a freak or a Swiss mistake gives Italy a hope in this game. And now a free kick's been given because Darmian has hauled down Ndoye.
And you're expecting a reaction from the Italians, and what's happening? It's still Switzerland dominating the ball and winning it back when they don't have it. Look, things can change, and you can never give up, especially playing for your country. And suddenly, somehow, and I don't know how at this moment in time, but if they were able to make it 2-1, then maybe the Swiss can start to get a bit nervous. But at this moment in time, at 2-0, there's going to be another goal. It looks like it's going to come from the Swiss.
Well, Spalletti was handed a rather weak hand by Roberto Mancini when he took the money in Saudi Arabia, because Italy hadn't qualified for back-to-back World Cups, and increasingly now that victory in the European Championships looks almost an anomaly, because they've done very little either side of that.
It looks to be a piece of brilliant management from both Roberto Mancini and Gianluca Vialli.
And players approaching the end of their careers, just giving it one final go, like Bonucci and Chiellini, and players like Chiesa came in and had a very good tournament as Fagioli plays a high ball forward, and goodness me, Scher with a back header towards his own goal, comes back off the post, and maybe that was the moment to give Italy some hope.
This is what I'm talking about. From absolutely nowhere, Italy had nothing to do with it, just a hopeful ball played in, and a cushioned header where sometimes where you're feeling so confident, you don't really cushion it there or try and bring it down or just head it away. Keep it simple. Keeper went one way, ball went the other, everyone's waiting, and it hit the post and bounced out.
Now Barella for Italy, 51 minutes played, Switzerland 2, Italy 0 in the opening game of the round of 16 at the European Championships. The Talksport network will bring you every single game between now and the final on the 14th of July. And as things stand, Italy will not be heading back to Berlin for that final, but Bastoni on this near side tries to deliver a low cross in. It's blocked, and it will be an Italy corner. In the cricket, South Africa 101 for 3 in the 12th over. They need 76 of 49 to beat India and win the World T20. Corner for Italy here. Zaccagni will take it. An in-swinger. Met at the near post by Akanji. And the shot from Chiesa is blocked quickly by Vargas, who scored the second goal. And it's all the way back to Gianluigi Donnarumma, who has had no chance with either goal. 52 minutes played. Italy just striving for something to go their way here, although they're not playing well enough to really deserve a stroke of good fortune, which nearly arrived, courtesy of the header from Fabian Schär. Now Fagioli again. And here is Darmian inside the centre circle. It was only the third time in 25 games that Italy had trailed at half-time in a European Championship game, as Bastoni catches Ndoye in the face on this near side, and it will be a free kick for Switzerland. And it was maybe a handoff for Ndoye. I'm not too sure it was that much contact, but it will be a free kick for Switzerland.
I tell you what, Switzerland got so lucky with that back header from Schär. He's leaning back, the ball was played in. As I say, he's headed it and it's looped. Keeper beaten, hit the post.
Vargas losing out to Di Lorenzo, and it's claimed by Donnarumma.
Sorry, Nigel. Sometimes if you're not very good, you need a lot of luck. And Italy at the moment are not very good, and they didn't have any luck there. As I say, no matter how it comes, if they can make it 2-1, they're back in the game, but 2-0 seems a million miles away for them.
Ndoye now, wide towards Reeder. On this near side, looking to break into the penalty area down the right. All left foot. Back towards Ndoye again. And now square to Granit Xhaka, who has not wasted a pass so far. Rodriguez tries his luck left-footed from long range. It's blocked by Cristante, and it spins away on the far side for a throw into Switzerland.
Well, he tried one earlier in the first half, didn't he? It went over. Cristante, it was a good block in the end. At least he's trying to get tight. Have to be some strike, I think, to beat Donnarumma from their mind. It just shows the confidence Switzerland have right now.
Fagioli's clearance straight to Akanji. And now Xhaka again. And Switzerland are beginning to pop the ball around with that swagger and arrogance. A 1-2 between Freuler and Mbolo. The cross in towards Reeder is cleared away by Darmian. 55 minutes played. And the Swiss coming forward now with Mbolo again. But Chiesa coming back with a good challenge. But it says so much about the way Italy are playing that it's Chiesa often having to come back and make those sorts of challenges.
Well, he received the ball and he had two players around him. He lost the ball, and at least he was working hard, tracking back. But where the Italians want him is further forward and on the ball at the moment. He's working hard, yes, but Italy can't get in the final third.
Zaccagni down this near side, the left. Tumbles under the challenge of Ndoye, but gets back to his feet, wins it back, delivers a cross in, headed away by Schär. Now Fagioli on the edge of the penalty area, back to Cristante, fires in the shot, blocked by Akanji, and it breaks kindly for Abisha on the far side. He finds Vargas, and in the end, the final touch was off an Italian boot, and it will be a Swiss throw. You're listening to Euro Game Day live on Talksport, presented by Carling, the UK's #1 lager, 18 plus. Please drink responsibly. Coming up tonight from Dortmund at 8 o'clock, Germany against Denmark with Adrian Durham, Ian Danta and Darren Bent. Tomorrow at 5 o'clock, England against Slovakia. And we'll be building up to that game all day. And following that match, you can have your say on Talksport. The Spain against Georgia game, an 8 o'clock kickoff, will be over on Talksport too. And there's going to be a yellow card here for Mancini.
It's another yellow card, isn't it? And they're racking up a little bit for the Italians. Again, just shows how they're stretching, playing at their maximum, certainly defensively. One thing they cannot afford to do is go down to 10 men. It really is game over there.
Mancini booked for catching Reader. Third Italian to be shown a yellow card. And I think the ball has burst as well, so Simon Marciniak, the referee, is calling for a replacement as one or two Italian fans look to raise their fellow compatriots and generate some noise inside the stadium, because it's all rather quiet at the moment. And I think the fans who've made the journey to Berlin know the game is up.
There also look to be a few Italian fans who just cannot believe what they are watching at the moment. It really has been poor, but you have to say, you've got to give a lot of credit to Switzerland. As I say, been really impressive with the ball, but also without the ball. Not allowed Italy to do anything. We're coming up to the hour mark, and they've still not had a shot on target, the Italians.
The closest they've come has been thanks to Fabian Schär.
Absolutely.
And now the Swiss coming forward again with Reader. Aebischer. I'm not sure the ball was intended for Freuler on the halfway line, but Aebischer gets it back anyway. Here is Ndoye. And Aebischer is really helping to dictate the pace of the game, along with Xhaka and Aebischer and Freuler. And at the moment, the Italians can't even get a kick. And for seasoned fans of Italian football, this must be hard to take, because they're not just losing this game, they are losing it and getting lessons as well.
No, and this is getting as tough as it was against Spain. You know, and they were technically still in the game with it being 1-0. At this moment in time, we talked about no shots on target. Closest they've come to scoring is a massive defensive mistake in the Swiss defence. And Switzerland just pinging the ball around.
And Ndoye comes in field from the right-hand side. He goes for goal left-footed, looking to emulate the earlier effort from Vargas. Maybe the ball slipped into Mbolo, may have been the better option, because Ndoye completely miskicked that from 25 yards and sent it skewering high over the crossbar.
I think once he realised he wanted a shot on his left foot, he needed a couple of seconds to set himself up, and missed out on looking at the opportunity of putting Mbolo in. But again, when you're 2-0 up and dominating, why not have a go?
66 runs in 41 balls, the equation for South Africa to win the World T20 against India. 111 for 4 in the 14th over. Now Zaccagni for Italy. An hour played. Switzerland leading 2-0. Fagioli looked to whip it high for Di Lorenzo coming in at the far post, but Switzerland will clear. But now Cristante. Fagioli 25 yards out in towards Skamaka, but he was trying to hold off Akanji, who seemed to have him almost in a wrestling hold there inside the area, but he clears the ball away. And now Rodriguez. Mancini beating Mbolo in the air, but Switzerland always seem to pick up the second ball, and there's a rash challenge there from Darmian on Reader, and it's a Swiss free kick just inside their own half. An hour played, Switzerland 2 up and utterly in control.
Well, first of all, it was brilliant defending from Akanji. To say he was in control, both physically and mentally, of that situation. He's just pushed Skamaka out the way. He's inside the box. He's given a little 3-yard pass to Granit Xhaka, who's got a guy on him who doesn't try to kick it out, doesn't panic. It's almost like a training session now for them. That's how comfortable they are. Just got to be careful. They keep on it and don't think they've got it beaten. As I say, 2-0. Done and dusted. 2-1. Game on.
Switzerland have reached the knockout phase now in 6 successive tournaments, so this is very much a golden era for them. They've had 13 attempts on goal, 4 on target. Switzerland have had, or rather Italy have had 3, 0 on target, which tells you all you need to know.
And even when you look at the possession, it's 54% to Switzerland. It'd be a lot higher if they actually wanted the ball the whole time. Now they're quite happy to let Italy have the ball.
Chiesa on the far side, the right. Shrugs off Aebischer initially, but then Vargas comes across to make the challenge. And it will be an Italian throw-in.
Brilliant defending again, just doubling up on Chiesa. And again, when you're on top, you feel like you're full of energy. Aebischer had a 1-on-1. He had to try and deal with him, hold him up. In comes Vargas. Chiesa had no chance.
61 minutes played on Talksport. Switzerland 2, Italy 0. At the moment, this has the feeling of the last days of Italy's reign as European champions. Cristante wide to the far side, and Di Lorenzo. Chiesa takes over again. The cross in over the head of Scamacca, headed away by Cher, but Italy win it back. Fagioli picking out Darmian, but they're very narrow on this near side. Darmian looking to provide the width, but he comes in field. And now Italy do have some possession, but the Swiss seem to have them exactly where they want them.
They've got no real pace up front. That's wide or as your striker. So Switzerland are quite happy to push up a bit. And that means the midfield can push up. So the Italian midfielder not having time to look up.
Di Lorenzo wide towards Chiesa again. He comes in field. He tries to reverse it back into the area, looking for Scamacca. Right sort of idea, but Scamacca wasn't really on his toes, and the Italians are about to make a change, and Matteo Retegui will be coming on.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. We're going to see whether he takes Scamacca off or plays two up front and then just goes long. But at this moment in time, Switzerland are dominating. I just said about how well they've been without the ball. They just stayed off a yard from each of the Italian players, and Chiesa very nearly played Scamacca in. They need to be right at it, Switzerland. Dominating this game, cannot allow Italy to get back into it. If the Italians can, then maybe they can do something, a miracle like they did in the last game.
Well, they knocked out the French in the round of 16 3 years ago, Switzerland. That dramatic game in Bucharest on penalties when they were 3-1 down and came back to equalise and eventually won, and then they lost to Spain in St. Petersburg, also in a shootout. But it's Barella who has gone off, and Retegui will come on. So Italy sacrificing a player in midfield, their best player in midfield over the tournament certainly, and it will be Scamacca and Retegui up front. So it's almost 4-4-2.
Not surprised. I am surprised perhaps he's taken off Barella. To go two up front, you've got to go for it now.
And Barella's on a yellow card as Italy give the ball away again around their own penalty area. Aebischer, square now to Xhaka. Xhaka picking out Vargas again, who goes beyond Di Lorenzo on the outside. Cuts back. Here is Xhaka now. Fires in the shot left-footed. It's blocked. Jab back out wide towards Vargas. Aebischer inside the penalty area. He will go back towards Rodriguez down the left. 64 minutes played. Rodriguez on the overlap now. A crossing opportunity, but he never got hold of it. But he gets it back, and now Rodriguez lofts it in, and Ndoye goes for the spectacular scissors kick from about 15 yards out. Makes no contact whatsoever, crashes down to earth, and Italy will eventually clear.
When you're 2-0 up and dominating, you can do that.
Why not, yeah. And now Fagioli pushes over Reeder.
I'm glad for his sake he's not injured. I know I would be trying to do something like that. He came right down on his back.
But it's another Swiss free kick here. I'm just watching a replay of Ndoye. He did land on the small of his back. The sort of move these days, you're trying a trampoline. 65 minutes played. Switzerland 2, Italy 0. And the Italians, the reigning champions, are going out here, and their fans are so bored they're doing a Mexican wave.
Well, they're trying to somehow just enjoy the atmosphere now, or create an atmosphere, because we're not seeing anything on the pitch.
Reeder nearly scored from this sort of position during the first half. Reeder again fires the ball in with pace, and I think he was going for goal again. Went for the other side, and it's just over the top.
Well, I think he was aiming for just outside for the far post for it to curl in. So if anyone doesn't get a touch, it would have gone in. And obviously, Donnarumma, as a goalkeeper, you wait to see if someone's got that touch, but he completely overplayed that.
South Africa need 30 in 30. 147 for 4 at the end of 15 overs against India. And they look to be on their way to the World T20. It's been a very well-judged innings so far. As Darmian comes forward here for Italy. 66 minutes played on Talksport. 2-0. Switzerland lead. Goals either side of half-time from Freuler and Vargas. But they have been the better side from minute one. As Rodriguez heads away inside his own penalty area. Now Fagioli. And Italy have been so laboured when they've had the ball. Bastoni, who scored their equaliser in the opening game against Albania. And Fagioli again. It's a good ball wide towards Chiesa down the right-hand side. He's got support from Di Lorenzo. Cut back to Cristante. Looped in high towards Retegui, but Cher is there to nod the ball clear for Switzerland.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting balls in the box, but just to put those type of crosses with snow on it coming back down, then it's absolutely food and drink for these centre-halves of Switzerland. Very clever without the ball. When they do drop deep, it's a 5-4-1, and Italy are just not good enough to break them down. And then when they decide to press, Italy are not good enough to keep the ball.
Di Lorenzo coming in field from the right, finding Cristante. Bastone. And Mancini now joining in. But Italy here, they're not moving the ball around with any real pace or conviction. Here is Cristante. Chiesa hugging the touchline down the right. He's always offering, but when he gets the ball, there were two red shirts around him, but now he tries to deliver a cross in. It was good play by Chiesa, in fairness to him. He's not hiding, but Aebischer gets to it first to send it behind for a corner.
No, he's probably Italy's best player. He's trying to make things happen, getting the ball on the right-hand side. If he's not being doubled up and get a one-on-one situation, Aebischer's defending well against him, but absolutely it's about character now when you're 2-0 down.
Chiesa with the corner. It's very deep. Actually bounces outside the penalty area. It's gathered by Zaccagni. And all the way back towards Di Lorenzo. Now the fair-haired Fagioli. The high cross in. Retegui was the target, but Sommer comes out and claims 15 yards out with a commanding piece of goalkeeping.
Again, if you got two up front, it's fine to put the cross in, even if it's a little bit longer, but it's got to be put in with more quality than that. So easy for Jan Sommer to come and claim it. Doesn't even need to punch it.
You're listening to Euro Game Day live on Talksport, presented by Burger King. Bring home the ultimate food satisfaction. Get your favourites delivered now. Switzerland give the ball away on the edge of their own penalty area. Here is Chiesa with a deflected cross in, and it went behind for a corner. And the Swiss just showing one or two moments of carelessness now as we approach the final 20 minutes, and they still lead 2-0.
Yeah, again, Chiesa coming off from the right that time, on the left-hand side, trying to do a little step over and cross it in. He is giving it his all. No, obviously not his best game in Italian shirt, but he's given absolutely everything.
He was the star in many ways going forward in 2021. Chiesa with the corner in, headed away by Cher. Good challenge from Rieder to deny Fagioli the shooting opportunity on the edge of the penalty area. And now Xhaka will try and break over the halfway line, running in behind. And Chiesa did have to deal with a nasty ACL injury, which kept him out of the game for around a year, shortly after the European Championships. But he's been the main player during what's been a difficult period for Juventus, and he's somebody that Italy will need to look to for what could be a rebuild following these championships. As Cher comes forward now, another run forward from the central defender. He gave the ball away, but this time Chiesa losing out, and Bolo tries to keep the ball in play, but it will be a throw-in for Italy, and Switzerland are making changes. Leonidas Sturziu is coming on, the Stuttgart defender. Vargas, who scored the second goal, and Rieder are the players who are coming off. And the other player coming on is Steven Zuber, the AEK Athens midfielder.
That's interesting. Vargas, I thought, played really well. Not just going forward, but defensively. I think to set up the balance, again, which is something which we feel with the English national side isn't quite there. I think the balance of the Swiss side was brilliant. So interesting. Murat Yakin's decided to make those changes.
Well, if they win this game, they've got a week off, or certainly a week to prepare for the quarter-final against either England or Slovakia. Of course, that game is coming up tomorrow afternoon on Talksport. 5 o'clock kickoff. And we'll be building up to it all day before the action in Gelsenkirchen. We're live inside the stadium with Adrian Durham and the team. From 4 o'clock, Jeff Stelling and Gabi Agbonlahor will have Euro Game Day Drive. Before then, and Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy will be taking your calls at the end of the game all the way through until 11 o'clock. Now Scamacca on this near side. 18 minutes to play. Switzerland 2, Italy 0. Germany against Denmark coming up with Adrian, Ian Danter and Darren Bent at the end of this game. But now a shot on the turn from Retegui on the edge of the penalty area, but the Argentinian-born player unable to really test Jan Sommer. Simple save for him.
Is that Italy's first shot on target?
Yes.
73rd minute.
Straight at the keeper.
Dare I say that even you or I could possibly have saved that?
I think you could have done, but
actually we probably couldn't.
South Africa need 26 in 24 balls. 1-5-1 for 4 against India's 1-7-6 for 7 in the T20 final in Barbados. Approaching a thrilling conclusion there. Bastoni for Italy on this near side. 17 minutes to play. Switzerland 2, Italy 0 on Talksport, and the holders are going out. Spain, the only side to retain the European Championships in 2008 and 2012. It was Italy who brought their run to an end in 2016, but Switzerland are doing the same to them here. Cristante with a high ball in, it's flicked on, and Scamacca will hit the post. The flag stayed down. It was a high ball in from Cristante. Zaccagni's headed down for Scamacca, who had to jab it off balance, and it came off the post. Now Fagioli curls a shot in, right-footed over the top, and it's another escape for Switzerland.
He must have been offside there, surely. And the referee's assistant kept his flag down, maybe because Switzerland ended up having the ball. It was a well-timed run.
Scamacca was certainly offside.
Scamacca was the one offside. Zaccagni actually made a really good run, and I think he was onside. But, you know, that's why Murat Yakin has made the changes. He's just felt that psychologically Switzerland have just taken the foot off the gas. Italy going, certainly in terms of possession anyway, having a lot more of the ball. So perhaps he wants to stiffen things up with the substitutions that he's made.
Lorenzo Pellegrini and Andrea Cambiasso have come on for Italy. Cristante and Darmian have gone off. So it could be 3 at the back now. Well, Cambiasso is filling in on the left-hand side. Now Xhaka finding Abisha. And Switzerland know if they just keep it simple here, keep the ball, they are heading through to the quarter-finals. 15 minutes to play. Switzerland 2, Italy 0. Here on Talksport. Germany against Denmark coming up live from Dortmund at the end of this game. Remo Freuler, 8 minutes before half-time. Ruben Vargas, 30 seconds into the second half. And Italy have hit the post twice since, which makes it sound a good deal closer than it has been.
It certainly does. Considering Fabian Schär, headed the ball onto the post. And look, I think Italy have come back more into the game, more in terms of possession and creating lots of chances, because Switzerland have gone down from 5th gear to 2nd. But it wouldn't flatter the Swiss if this was their end 3-0.
Scamacca now. The ball dropped to him on the edge of the penalty area, hits it right-footed. But it's high over the top. And he's not a player who should always be judged on his goal, Gianluca Scamacca, but this is his 20th Italian appearance, and he scored once.
Yeah. Was that against England?
It was, yeah. At Wembley in the qualifiers. Italy qualified in fairly mediocre fashion overall on the head-to-head record against Ukraine. It was the first time ever they'd reached the Euros, losing twice in qualification, as Ndoye and Mbolo come off for Switzerland. And the players who come on, Kwadwo Dua, who scored against Hungary in the opening game, and he is joined by Vincent Sierra another player who only has a handful of caps, but it's a good time to bring them on. Duo winning his 4th cap and Sierra winning his 6th.
Absolutely. Again, it's about just freshening things up at the moment. Italy have had a lot more possession, haven't been able to really create lots of quality chances. Still that one shot on target. But definitely just trying to freshen things up, a bit more energy for the Swiss now.
Sturgeon on this near side now. Freuler. Quadrodua plays for Ludogorets, but he was born in London before moving on to Europe at a young age. And Switzerland have a throw-in on this near side. 12.5 minutes to play. And Italy have looked a beaten team for some time. Now Sierra, first involvement. It's blocked by Bastone, and it will be a corner to Switzerland down their right.
Yeah, you say look at beaten side. There's the Skamaka shot we had a couple of minutes ago. He absolutely snatched that. It was worth having a go. It came off the side of his foot, which shows a player who's not in form, not for this game anyway. And then his body language afterwards. He looked a beaten man.
All of that experience, all of that resilience, all of the heart they showed in beating England in the final 3 years ago, it's all gone. Sierra with the corner kick, headed away at the near post, and Freuler tries his luck first time left-footed. Why not? From the edge of the penalty area, but it's over the top.
That would have been some technique. How quickly it came at him, bouncing just in front on his left foot. I'm surprised he skied it over.
For this Swiss team, qualified behind Romania, they drew at home with Belarus and Kosovo during qualification. They were pretty average. The fans weren't happy. They wanted Yakin, the coach, out. But clearly something's clicked.
And do you know what? They were average against Scotland, weren't they? Fair play to Scotland for getting the tactics spot on.
Well, they scored thanks to a mistake, didn't they?
Yes, absolutely. And the way they're looking at the moment, you talk about momentum and peaking at the right time. In this performance, again, you could talk about Italy being really, really poor, but you can only beat what's in front of you. And not only are they going to win this game, well, you would think they would win this game, but they've absolutely dominated the Italians.
11 minutes to play. Switzerland 2, Italy 0. And once again it breaks down for the Italians on the edge of the penalty area, and the long ball played forward towards Quadrodua, who almost had the run there on Bastone, who did well to recover, but he limps away as he plays it back to Donnarumma.
Showed good pace there, didn't he? He must be tired already. And the last thing you want is a race against a very quick striker, but Bastone not only is he a good ball player, he's also pretty quick.
22 in 17 balls for South Africa to beat India and win the World T20. 155 for 5 in the 18th over. It's a good deal more clear-cut here. 10 minutes to play on Talksport. Switzerland 2, Italy 0. And at the moment, on this form, you would not back against Switzerland coming back for the final. They are one of the form teams in this tournament.
Don't say that, Nigel. Don't say that.
Well, look, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow yet, do we? So.
Nigel, you're absolutely spot on. At this moment in time, without seeing England play against Slovakia, I'd fancy Switzerland against either England or Slovakia, but we know that England have the ingredients and can put in this type of performance tomorrow.
9 minutes to play. Italy still working for an opening, but again, there's just that lack of conviction inside the penalty area as Zaccagni tries to deliver a crossing. Good challenge from Cher, and the final touch was off Zaccagni, and it looks as though there will be no added time heroics from him. We mentioned Marco Materazzi. He's here today watching on. He was on the touchline before the game, going around some of the Italian players. Of course, he scored in the World Cup final. Let's say he had a role in Zinedine Zidane's red card.
A rather large one.
Yes. But it's a very different story here for Italy and Berlin today. They have a passionate football nation. They have a highly critical football media. and they will not be spared following this.
No, they won't, but I do think everyone in Italy understood that this is not a quality Italian side. Spalletti has only really just come in the job and is still getting used to finding out his best 11, both in terms of personnel and systems. It was always going to be tough. And I think this is a performance against a Swiss side that, as we've said, obviously did well against Germany, but not so good against Scotland. Hit and miss. And they have been absolutely dominated.
Chiesa with the cross in, looking for Scamacca. He's unable to flick on to Retegui. Akanji will clear. Kwaduodua does well to hold the ball up and find Xhaka. Work wide to the far side at Abisha. Excellent ball down the line for Zuber. He can break into the Italian half. He's just checked by Di Lorenzo, but he has support from Xhaka. Back towards Zuber again. The angle's tight, and he drives it across the face of goal. I'm not sure Donnarumma got a touch on that, and it spins away on this near side.
Well, first of all, Granit Xhaka is just absolutely bossing this game and playing at his pace. Really good pace again, a couple of times from Zuber. And Sturgio, first of all, he ran down the right, and he had the beating in terms of pace-wise of the Italian defender, and then it came back, and then I'm thinking, just follow it in again. And as the ball was whipped across, he hadn't done that. Perhaps he was a little bit tired from that first run, but that would have been a simple tap-in for him if he'd have just read the situation.
Xhaka has been popping balls around the corner all day, and Italy have not got near him.
He's been brilliant, he really has, but he's not the only one. Freuler alongside him, Abisha, Rieder, and then the back three. I mean, Jan Sommer is a class player, a goalkeeper, what do you say, world class. And yet the way that Rodriguez and Cher, just either side of Akanji, have read situations. If ever they've got down the sides, Italy, the centre half, the outside centre half has read the situation and covered and not allowed the cross to come in. And then when there's been a battle or one-on-one situation with Akanji and Scamacca, well, Akanji has won it every single time.
And with 5 Italian-based players in the team, they will certainly have enjoyed this, as Retegui does well to win the ball at the far post, heads it down into the area, and there is not a single blue shirt anywhere near it.
Did you notice Cher didn't try to head the ball back there, did he?
No.
He just got rid of it. Avit style.
6 minutes to play. Switzerland 2, Italy 0 on Talksport. And this has been a long, drawn-out agony for the Italians in the second half. Zaccagni plays it back to Pellegrini. He fires in the shot right-footed, and it's way over the top. And a major football nation here are really hurting, because they're not just going out of the European Championships, they have been humiliated.
Yeah, absolutely. And as Pellegrini got that ball, not one but 2 Swiss players were coming out to try and get it tight, not allowing Pellegrini any time at all to really set himself and get the technique that he knows he can do and put it in the top corner. In the end, it was very high and very wide. Again, just another example of how good Switzerland have been without the ball.
20 runs in 2 overs for South Africa. 157 for 6 against India in Barbados. Could be a nervy finish there now, as Retegui just about kept the ball in play on this near side. And we have 4.5 minutes to play. Germany against Denmark, live from Dortmund, with Adrian Durham and the team coming up at 7 o'clock. I think we can safely say now there'll be no extra time here today, as Italy make another change, and it's Nicola Fagioli who goes off and Davide Fratesi who comes on.
Well, it's not going to do too much, is it really? Fratesi in midfield. Fagioli, it's not quite worked. He's tried to get on the ball, but not been able to dominate the game at all.
You look down the Italian bench and you have to say, who could they bring on at any stage to really make a difference? The way the game has gone, because the way they started the game just gave the Swiss the ascendancy right from the start.
Well, you said earlier, you're making changes and you're bringing on players that you just dropped. It's a tough one for Spalletti.
Pellegrini with a high cross into the penalty area, and at the far post appeals for a penalty, as it struck Sturgeon. I'm not sure it was deliberate, but he was inside the area.
Yeah, he's inside the area, hit his hand. It was a long cross. He could claim that, it wasn't intentional. His arm was down by his side. It wasn't an unnatural movement.
Well, Spalletti is imploring Marciniak, the referee, to give a penalty. Of course, we do have VAR. Tomasz Kwiatkowski is in charge today. He's had a very quiet day.
Yeah. Well, the ball hasn't gone out yet, so it will be interesting to see when it does go out, whether the referee will be just told by VAR. Have a look at this.
3 minutes to go. The ball is still live here, but it won't be now because Mancini has been dragged down by Dua. And the Italians restart. So if there was a check, it was a very quick one.
And I think that's right. I think they've tried to have a light touch, haven't they? Scottish fans maybe feeling that it was too light in their game against Hungary, but I think they're erring on the right side of the caution and how VAR should be ruled.
The corner is whipped in, or rather the cross is whipped in for Italy on this near side. Interesting comment from Giuseppe Bergami, who's covering the game for Italian TV today. If your head's not in the game, it's difficult mentally to make a comeback. And that sums up the Italian performance.
I don't know what he means by that.
He's obviously suggesting they're not up for it.
I don't think they're not up for it. It's not that they're not trying. They're just being beaten by a better side. A team that have got very good individuals. And I argued beforehand that Switzerland probably have a better bunch of individuals than Italy do. And then when you look at the team, Spalletti, again, we go back to the fact he's not been in charge a year yet. He's trying to find his best team. He's made 6 changes here. He's had 3 at the back in his reign. He's had 4 as well. He's still getting to know exactly what is the best in an Italian side that are not producing top quality players.
Heading towards the 90th minute. Sommer will take a free kick midway inside the Swiss half, looking for Dua, but guided back by Mancini towards Donnarumma.
And I think what we got here is an Italian side that they are trying to give their all, but they know they're not as good as the opposition, and they're beaten mentally. So maybe that's where he's coming from. Once you're beaten mentally, it's very hard to do that. But some people just have it in their DNA that whatever happens, they will give it to the very end. And as I say, it's not a lack of effort from the Italians, but it's definitely a lack of belief.
Xhaka. I can't imagine that Bonucci and Chiellini were ever beaten mentally.
No.
And that's the difference. They've gone now. They need someone else to take over that mantle.
Yeah, and you could argue that the goals wouldn't have come if they were in the side and in their, or anywhere near their prime.
Now Chiesa coming forward as we tick towards the end of 90 minutes. He looks up, arms outstretched, and says, "Where are my options?" And that really sums it up, because he has absolutely run himself into the ground, and he's had no support whatsoever.
He's definitely someone who's given it his all and mentally not beaten. If there are 11 Chiesas, they'll be in with a chance, but Switzerland have got the job done. They've been superb. 2-0 does not flatter them at all.
Their fans celebrating already on the far side. We only have 2 minutes of added time. I think that's a mercy for Italy.
I was just about to say that. And look, we certainly don't want to come across as disrespectful to a massive nation that, for another 90 seconds are the champions of the Euro. But this is a side that has got nowhere near the Swiss side.
Chiesa now on the far side, the right. He'll come in field. He lets fly, and I think it will go out for a throw-in on this near side. But the Swiss are about to make one more change. Renato Steffen will come on to replace Michel Ebischer. And the Bologna player has had a superb game. And one of the home-based players, Steffen, who plays for Lugano, comes on to win his 40th cap.
I like Ebischer. Very good on the ball. Can play either side as a left wing back or right wing back, midfielder, however you want to call it, with a 3-4-3. Very, very comfortable. First game, an assist and a goal. Very good here today as well. Not been tested too much defensively, but Yeah, very good performance.
Stefan quickly into the game with 15 seconds of added time to play. Xhaka, Stefan, and now Zuber on the far side. And the Swiss are toying with the Italians here before Rodriguez goes all the way back to Jan Sommer. It's all over. And time has expired for the Italians. Their reign as European champions is over. They have been comprehensively outplayed by Switzerland, who are entitled to celebrate their first victory over Italy for over 30 years. It was 2-0 in the end, but it could have been so many more. Switzerland look a very handy side in the quarter-finals, and if England beat Slovakia in their round of 16 game, the Swiss will be next for the Three Lions. The end of an era may be for the Italians, but possibly the start of a bright new one for the Swiss. It is finished. Switzerland 2, Italy 0.
Nigel Adderley, thank you very much indeed. What a result in Berlin. The Swiss swagger past the Italians and book their place in the quarter-finals. The Switzerland fans have started their party, and they can party long into the night. As for Italy, as their manager Luciano Spalletti shakes hands with some of the celebrating Swiss players, their own players, Italy, are stretched out on the turf, dejected faces for them, because as the holders, they head out of the tournament with a whimper. They were no match for Switzerland whatsoever. They were a shadow of the side that won this tournament at Wembley in 2021, and as a result, Italy will be heading home. Scott Minto, it was a wonderful performance from Switzerland, but Italy, despite being the holders, despite having that title on the line, they didn't turn up today. And let's be honest, Scott, they haven't really turned up at this tournament.
No, and I think, Ollie, you know, we'll get the sort of negatives out the way, because Switzerland were really, really good. But again, we've alluded to the fact that, you know, with Mancini gone, Spalletti's come in, not even had a year in charge. This is not a top-class Italian side. I don't think the Italian public were expecting Italy to go that far, and this is probably about par where they were thinking. But, you know, once you've got that sort of last-minute goal to equalise against Croatia, and then you're in a knockout stages, you're kind of thinking, well, you know, it's Italy. You know, can they grind the way towards the final and maybe even win it? But really, this is about where they are, and you can talk about Italy and how poor they were, and they were. They gave it their all. They tried their very, very best, and I really don't want to come across as patronising in that way. But they came up against a side that, I'm telling you now, when you talk about momentum getting into the knockout stages, Switzerland have just put in the perfect performance. A clean sheet, 2 goals, could have been more. Just played out the game for the last half hour, say, go on, then you have the ball and see if you can break us down, and they couldn't. That was absolutely brilliant for Murat Yakin's side.
Switzerland over with their fans applauding, a sea of red, and they're getting the applause and praise straight back from their fans. They know their side have made it through to the quarter-finals as well. And I have you right as well, Scott. They were fantastic tonight, and it was the perfect start, wasn't it? At the start of that second half, 30 seconds into it, Ruben Vargas with a brilliant goal, and it set the tone, didn't it, for that second half. We were wondering whether Italy could maybe respond in the second half. They were dominated in the first, but that goal from Vargas wasn't just brilliant, it set the tone.
Absolutely. You know, you're thinking 1-0, and they've been thrashed 1-0 in that first half, but they're only one moment of brilliance, one mistake away from getting back into the game. So what do? You make sure, okay, keep it tight in the start of the second half. You know, within 30 seconds, they're 2-0 down. And it was a really well-worked goal from Switzerland. The passing, the movement, was classic, it was perfect, it was training ground stuff. But to allow Ruben Vargas to have that type of space inside the box, to open up his body on the right-hand side, just left side of the goal, and able to put it into the top corner where even Donnarumma with his size can't get anywhere near it. You cannot allow even I don't want to say even a Swiss side, but a Swiss side, any side that's got quality, that type of time in the box. And it was really poor defending from the Italians, but it was brilliant play from Switzerland. It really was. And we sort of said, even in the first half, if it goes to 2-0, it's game over. But all the time it's 1-0, it's game on. And 2-0, it was game over. Switzerland went on for about another 15 or so minutes. And then they just thought, you know what, we're going to sit back and just see this game out. And that's exactly what happened.
Incredible scenes in Berlin. The Swiss players jumping up and down in front of their fans as well. That whole corner bobbing away. And now they're doing a big salute to their fans as well. Wide smiles on the faces of the likes of Fabian Schär and Manuel Akanji as well. They're through to the quarterfinals. It's time now to take a look at the King performance thanks to Burger King.
King Performance on Talksport with Burger King. Bring home the ultimate food satisfaction with the Gourmet King's Barbecue Steakhouse Angus. Order your Burger King delivery now.
Scott Minto, who are you going for your King performance of the match?
Do you know what? There's about 8 of the Swiss performances there that have been absolutely superb. And defensively, Akanji and Schär, very, very good. The wide players, not only did they look dangerous going forward, but they helped out at the back as well. Rieder and Aebischer were superb. Granit Xhaka, he bossed the game, he really did. But I'm going to give it to Remo Freuler. He scored the first goal. I think that was a big moment in the game. And he, alongside Granit Xhaka, were just absolutely superb and never gave Italy a chance.
Freuler that was our King performance pick in association with Burger King.
King Performance on Talksport with Burger King. Bring home the ultimate food satisfaction with the Gourmet King's Barbecue Steakhouse Angus. Order your Burger King delivery now.
Scott, if we just bring our attention very quickly back to Italy, because you mentioned Luciano Spalletti and the fact that he's been in this job for less than a year. Do you think because of the fact that he hasn't been in the job for too long, there will be a sense of sympathy with him and the performance at this tournament?
Yeah, I think so. I think the Italian public realised that obviously Roberto Mancini, surprisingly or disappointingly gone and gone to Saudi Arabia. He's come in and look, he's a class coach. He's shown that in Serie A quite clearly, certainly with Napoli. So for him to come in and look at the players that he's got, he's still trying to find a system. He's trying to find who his best players are. He's played 3, he's played 4 within qualifying. And he's made 6 changes today. Okay, 2 of them were enforced. One of them, DeMarco clearly must have been struggling with an injury, which he has been for the last couple of games, and then the suspension of Calafiori as well. But to make 6 changes, going from group stages into a knockout game, it shows he still doesn't know his best team. So, yeah, I think so. I think the Italian public, of course, they'll be disappointed at being knocked out in the round of 16. But I also think there'll be a sense of realism, and it won't be a case of Spalletti's got to go. He needs time. Simple as that.
Scott Minto, absolute pleasure as always. Thank you very much.
Can I just say thank you for not asking me about if England do go through, how are they going against Switzerland? Thank you.
No problem at all. I knew it would be a tough question for you. Don't worry about it. Scott Minto, thank you very much indeed. Our thanks to Nigel, Adderley, as well as the stadium empties.